the association the Australian Aborigines drew between the Pleiades and a bird is widespread. Many other peoples associate the Pleiades with birds. For example, Athenius, Hesiod, Pindar, Simonides, and Sicily call them the seven doves. In the Bible, doves are associated with spirits. The ancients associate Taurus with the Noahic flood, and Pleiades with the ark, again tying the constellation to the dove, and indirectly to the heavenly Jerusalem. In the Coverdale Bible of 1535, the margin note to the reference in Job reads, "These seven stars, the clock hen with her chicks," reflecting the then common name for the Pleiades among the North Central and Western Europeans, namely hen and chickens, a reference to Jerusalem. This is said to have come from Razel, and other Hebrew writers, who remarked on the similarity between the Greek word for Pleiades, and the Greek word for chicken coop. The Japanese also saw the Pleiades as a hen and her chicks. The Samoans know the Pleiades as the bird of paradise, the first hint of a link between the Pleiades and paradise. The Pleiades are associated with the Feast of the Dead on November 1st, as celebrated by the Roman Catholic Church in Europe, the Celtic Druids, and the natives of Peru. In Australia, the event sparked a 3-day celebration in honor of the Pleiades. When we look at the lore associated, worldwide with the Pleiades, we find there threads of all the elements connected with the Church in the Holy Bible. There can be little doubt that the original pattern, perhaps dating back to Adam, who was the first astronomer among Jewish and early Christian writers, is at least in part preserved in the world's myths and tales of the Pleiades. We find then, in the Pleiades, a strong type of the Church of God. Revelation 1:20 says, "The mystery of the seven stars which thou sawest in my right hand, and the seven golden candlesticks. The seven stars are the angels of the seven churches, and the seven candlesticks which thou sawest are the seven churches." Today we call ourselves by the Greek word Christian, but have we ever questioned where the term originated? And what does it mean? The New Schaff-Herzog Encyclopedia of Religious Knowledge confirms that the name originated outside of Christian and Jewish circles. From my studies of theology, I have learned that the figure known as Jesus was created by the Council of Nicaea in the year 325 AD, as a way to bring together all of the Yeshua cults via Emperor Constantine. The council added the supranational abilities of Mithra, Horus, and Osiris to the Jesus entity they created, and from that point forward, Christianity was created. The Bible has missing chapters such as the Book of Enoch, the Book of Jubilees, the Book of Numbers, and the Book of the Wars of Jehovah, so one must question why any books would be eliminated and why. What we know through these missing books. For example, when the Israelites idolized the golden calf when Moses went to the mountains, it symbolized the age of Taurus. When Moses blew on the ram's horn, it symbolized the age of Aries. When Jesus fed the masses with 2 fish, it symbolized the age of Pisces. When Jesus said to follow the man bearing the pitcher of water, it symbolized the age of Aquarius. The King James Version of the Bible wasn't written until the year 1611, and was edited by Rosicrucian and Freemason, Sir Francis Bacon. With ties to secret societies, is it possible that the truth was twisted and/or encrypted? What we do know is that there is a Christian Bible on the main floor of any Freemason lodge. The story of Jesus was created by the Church as a means of subservience, control, and conformity to religion and government. While it's definitely possible that an entity with supranational abilities existed, He was most likely an extraterrestrial or possibly an Anunnaki hybrid. The name Christian was a term employed to describe one who was an initiate, and understood the inner meaning of the Greek and Roman mystery religions. Thus, the early followers of Jesus refused to be called Christian. We find no less than 12 mythical historical personages before the advent of Christ, who are said to have suffered crucifixion, death and to have risen from the dead. Among them are, Krishna, Wittoba, Osiris, Attis, Indra, Prometheus, Mithra, Dionysius, Croesus, Aesculapius, Adonis, Apollonius of Tyana. Several of these figures are said to have been crucified at the spring equinox, and to have risen on the third day. The date of Christmas was purposely fixed on December 25th, to push into the background the great festival of the sun god, and Epiphany on January 6th to supplant an Egyptian festival of the same day. The Easter ceremonies rivaled the pagan spring festivals. The religious art of the Christians continued the pagan art of the preceding generations. The Christian representations of the Madonna and Child are clearly the continuation of the representations of Isis and her son suckling her breast. The first Jewish menorah was the one with 7 branches that was lit by priests at the Holy Temple during biblical times in Jerusalem. It is the symbol of the Jewish people and the state of Israel. The 9-branch menorah, called in Hebrew chanukah, is used only during the holiday of Hanukkah. The Talmud states that it is forbidden to use a 7-branched menorah outside of the temple, which is why the modern-day chanukah is slightly different. The tabernacle, according to the Hebrew Bible, was the portable dwelling place for the divine presence from the time of the Exodus from Egypt, through the conquering of the land of Canaan. The anointing oil for the tabernacle and the incense for the altar of incense, made from God's own prescribed formulas of spices, were both declared holy by God, and could only be used for the purpose of the tabernacle. Anyone else using the same formula for their own consumption would be cut off from Israel. Exodus 30. This oil used may have been a type of rocket fuel. Also, the special garments for the priests were holy. If they did not wear the right clothing in serving the Lord, they could die. Exodus 28. Sounds like radiation suits are needed. God told Moses to create the tabernacle exactly the way he commanded. It was not to stray from God's blueprint. God had chosen the Israelites as his special people. For the Israelites to qualify for that distinction, God had demanded one thing. They must obey his law, the 10 Commandments.
Robert Bigelow, founder of the military contractor Bigelow Aerospace. The Las Vegas tycoon spoke with 60 Minutes in May.
Do you imagine that in our space travels we will encounter other forms of intelligent life?
You don't have to go anywhere.
You can find it here.
Yeah.
Where exactly?
It's just like right under people's noses. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Robert Bigelow, founder of the military contractor Bigelow Aerospace. The Las Vegas tycoon spoke with 60 Minutes in May.
Do you imagine that in our space travels we will encounter other forms of intelligent life?
You don't have to go anywhere.
You can find it here.
Yeah.
Where exactly?
It's just like right under people's noses. Oh my gosh. Wow.